Hello and welcome to Solace and Humor. As was probably noticed, there was not an episode released on Friday, and that's because I'm just doing them whenever I feel like I can. This is why I miss doing with Jamin. You would, if you still listen, you would keep the schedule on, but anyways, it's just me, and today with my snake, like Sally. Yeah. Sally and Sniffles, and my Sniffles. Sally Snake. Um, who really likes the microphone now. So today is sort of two topics: illusions of time, or the illusion of time, and time paradoxes. So by illusion of time, I was reading an article that will be linked down if you want to read it, about this person who would talk about how time does not exist. Um, so just the brief points of it is that time was something that was created by humans, but now it controls everything we do. And there is a plane going over by, but I can't be bothered to pause this week. So by that I mean, like, we can't function as a society without time. Like, you can't have jobs without there being sort of a time, like a length that you have to work. You wouldn't know how much to be paid and how long you have to stay there. It's just, we wouldn't work as a society without time, but it's sort of a construct that was made up by humans. Um, so, in that aspect of it, of that it's something we created, then it brings you into, like, okay, that plane is really loud. So, the fact that we can't function as a society without time, but time is just something that a construct we've created. And then you go to talk about time travel. Now, we're trying to figure out a way to, like, figure out time travel, but that's just traveling through something that we perceive to be real. It was created, it's a human perception. Like, we're trying to learn to, it's like trying to learn to travel through a word. It's something we perceive, we've created. Just word isn't a good, like, match, but, like, I can't think of one right now. Alright, nor do I have anything really written down other than brief dot points. So, yeah, this article sort of tries to go through and talk about why time is just, it isn't real. Everything, like, people talk about, like, oh, things decay over time, but things sort of just have a decay that happens to them. Like, we say it's over time, but if you try and figure out, like, it without time, because time is something we created. Yeah, it was interesting to read. And now going into the second topic, time paradoxes. Again, the websites that I use for this are just below if you want to look at them yourself. All I'm really doing is summarizing what I look at. So there's the very first one is the presentation paradox. Now that's a paradox where you go back in time to prevent something from happening, but when you go back, you're actually the reason that caused it. So that's sort of like, you go, wow, another plane. Two in one night. The one night I can be bothered. I don't ever notice the planes until I'm trying to record. Hey, Sally. So yeah, this one is sort of like if you go back in time to warn somebody of their death. Say, warn them about being... You warn them about something that's going to kill them to try and prevent their death, but ultimately them being warned about it is what causes the death. So that's what the predestination paradox. The second one is the bootstrap paradox. Now this is just the one where something is sent through time, like an object or a person, is sent back in time in it, like, so that it's back in time, but then when it gets back to the future, you send it back in time to the point where it actually has. There's no point where it was created. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much like you send a piece of information, or you send an object back in time, and yeah, once it gets back to your present, you send it back in time again, and because it's going through that loop, there technically is no longer a time when it was created, because when you get it, it's from the past, which sort of links in with the predestination paradox. Um, so then there's the let's kill Hitler paradox. So sort of that's the one where there's actual like it's different from the other two because outcomes are actually like like you could stop yourself from. It's the same as the kill grandpa paradox. So you go back in time, you kill like a great relative, and it stops you from ever being born. But if you're never born, you're never going back in time to yeah. So there's the whole yeah. That one's a proper paradox. Right. So those are the paradoxes that I have, and now there's the different versions to of what causing a paradox can do. Now the first option of like what if you ever caused a paradox of like one option of what I could do is just destroy all of reality that exists. That's one thing. The other one is like the multiverse theory and the alternate timeline theory, which are sort of the same. So the multiverse theory is if you go back, so say you go back, you kill a great relative, which would usually stop you from existing. What you've actually done is you've gone to another multiverse where you're not from there and your family line has not existed, like to the point where you are because you killed your great ancestor. So you pretty much like you're from another dimension where you exist, but you're in a dimension where you never did. And then there's the timeline theory where you've just created a brand new timeline, which is sort of the same thing. You're in now a world where you never existed, but it still allows you to exist because you've made your way there. It's like some people describe it like you're moving to a country where you were never there, but once you travel there, you are there. Like your family line has never been there. None of them have ever been there. But then you are there after everything you've caused. Yeah, so there's also another one of right, it's the same one, never mind. They have both the grandpa paradox and the let's kill Hitler paradox, which are pretty much the exact same, except just killing Hitler apparently. Well, killing Hitler would cause a lot more. Yeah. So that's what I got this week. Oh, okay, so I tie around my hand. Okay, yeah, so that's all I got this week. I'm just doing videos whenever I can be bothered now. Okay.